But through it all, I must give thanks for my great successes and my great mistakes.
Well, guys, welcome back to The Great Mistakes. I'm your host, Josh. This is my friend Nick from the Lesser Known Operators. Started out as lesser known, however, I think you're making some waves, and you've done a lot of work this year, so more of a known guy now than a less.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's bound to happen. It's weird,
Yeah.
the amount of people that reach out to me and things like that. But as I said before we started, man, I'm just trying to be me and the best version of me, because we all weren't at one time.
Yeah.
And now it's a conscious choice, because people say there's two types of people or three types of people. There's only one type of person, and then the person has a choice. They can go left or they can go right. A, B, that's it. So I chose to be an asshole in the past, and now I choose to not be now.
Well, that's all right. I mean, I think everyone chooses to be an asshole for about 5 minutes a day. Well, in my case, I know I do. But, it's all about growth, right? I mean...
Yeah. Everybody's at a different stage in their life, man. Everybody's going through something that you can sympathize with, but you don't know anything about. Like, the worst thing to ever happen to somebody is the worst thing to ever happen to somebody, whether it's something downrange or rear-ending a car could be the worst thing to ever happen to somebody. So you don't know what somebody's going through, and
that's true.
You got to have perspective. That's what this really has given me.
Yeah.
I can see a lot more things from other people's perspectives now, and I have sympathy for people a lot more than I used to. It slows you down. It makes you think, for sure, because I've heard some bad stuff from people. And
Oh, brother, I know. I mean, you've talked to a lot of people this year, man.
Yeah.
How many episodes have you recorded?
105 will come out tomorrow. Probably have maybe 7 or 8 in reserve right now.
Yeah.
And then I got like a 10% no-show. Not no-show. I can't release the episode rate, which is terrible. 10% so high, but
Is that because of who the guest is, or
people will kind of say, "Oh,
I shouldn't have said that."
I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
One, we went a whole episode where we both realized the next day we shouldn't have said any of that stuff.
Yeah,
It was a little too much.
I've had some of that. Yeah,
Yeah, and it was a great episode too. And I felt so bad about
dude,
it.
I had to cut out some shit. My first episode, was me and Alex, and which my whole deal with this whole stuff is about me being transparent about, why am I the way I am? Why are people the way they are? What are your life experiences? How you got here, the mistakes you made to put you where you are, right? And I talked about some things that maybe I should save for a later episode, some very crazy words. So I'm like, I messaged Jose. I'm like, let's take that 10-minute segment and just forget it never happened.
That's the beauty of the technology.
Yeah.
We're like, are you going to do live? Fuck that.
No, dude, not yet.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
That's for psychos.
Yeah. Well, I think that takes a lot of courage and maybe in training in media. You got to know how to talk
and dance around something.
Or
just flat out say, I'm not answering that. Because some things, as I told you before, should be a secret.
For sure. Yeah. Or, you got to learn to steer around conversation and stuff.
That's a practice.
Yeah. Or, I know one thing that's been weird is there's been a few people who, we'll do the episode and I'm like, hey man, before I do anything, clips or reels, you good at all that? And they're like, yeah. And then they completely switch up gears the next day. And I'm like, I thought we were good, but shit happens. But.
Some of it's you reading too far into things, and some of it people just get second guess. And then sometimes people just look at the message and go, I don't know what to say. And they just put it down and they don't go back to it, because if you put the problem away, it's not a problem anymore, right? So they just don't deal with it. We've all done that.
Yeah.
So we go, I don't want to deal with that. And they just, the problem, maybe it'll
bury
go away.
it deep.
Maybe. So I don't expect anything from anybody. And I operate on people's goodwill and time that they're donating to hang out with me and tell me about them. And I understand in every situation. If you don't want me to release it, you want to reschedule, you want to not record, totally fine with me.
Yeah, for sure. Just say it,
Or don't. Yeah, I'm fine with everything. Shit comes up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hold anything. I did have one guy, he rescheduled or dropped like 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, I'm just not going to reach out to this person anymore. But
I've had some reschedules. There's a couple this month, but the funny thing is, once it's like I know how it's been for me because I'm not like a super popular guy, or I don't like put a bunch of too much operator shit on, so no one really gives a shit. But then they'll see like an episode I do, and I think they change their mind about coming on. Like, actually, yeah, I'll come out, like, you know, or something like that. I'm like, okay, come on, dude, come on. But it's all been really good, man. Like I've met and spent time with like so many amazing dudes because of this. I mean, it's only been like 7 episodes, and the networking you do, I know you've like networked with a lot of freaking guys.
how often do you get to sit down and have a 2-3 hour conversation with a good friend that you already have, let alone a stranger?
Yeah. Dude, I know, right? And I think what podcasting does is actually kind of brings us back to how people used to sit down and talk, because you're forced to be in an element with each other and not stare at your phone. And it's like, we had to buy all this fucking equipment to do it, right? It's kind of funny. Well, I didn't have to. But.
You don't have, yeah. I tell people, if you want to.
Tell us the truth. I spent too much, but yeah.
I spent, to get my first episode out,
Yeah.
I probably spent less than $200. And almost all of that was on my microphone, my Rode mic.
Yeah.
So I just pieced stuff together from around the house, grabbing furniture from all over the house. I got a rug down there I found, and then I've got some stuff to deaden sound in the garage. But, you know, you try and make the show for content, and then you realize, well, I'm making this show for me.
Yeah.
And I'm just so lucky that I get to hang out and talk to these people and get the best and the worst parts of their lives. It's an honor. It's great. And I'm plugged back into the community that I worked so hard to get into, and then I got out of, and now I'm back into it. So it's all, you know, I used to think, oh, there's too many shows. And now I go, who cares? Like,
right. There's only one of you, though.
Yeah.
So.
But the benefits are so numerous for me personally, and that's only going to help everybody else around me.
Yep.
Yeah, people watch, people don't watch. That's fine. They see more people see the reels and the things, because that's just the way we view our content now. But I get to meet all these people, and you know, we might not see eye to eye. But I saw something the other day. It said our fear of bringing up religion and politics at the dinner table has led to us not being able to speak at all, and we've lost the way of speaking. Or the art of speaking to them, just like you just said.
Yeah.
And now, I set out in January, I can hold a conversation. My thoughts will start stringing back together. Yeah. I can see where somebody's coming from. I have more firm stance. Actually, I have less firm stance actually on mine, because now I go, well, I didn't think about it like that. And that's just from talking to people.
Yeah, dude. I mean, when you're not forced, but whenever you actually engage in conversation, you learn a lot more about yourself and how you should be, you know. And I'm always been, you know, one of the reasons I started this podcast still is because, I mean, I've always been a conversationalist. It's like, what do I like to do on a Friday? Go have a beer and just talk to people. I can sit down at the fucking brewery and just talk to a different person for an hour straight, and someone else. And I'm like, you know, I'm good at it. Might as well just use this skill and grow, right? So.
Yeah. It's a shame, though, like, our community is so rooted in alcohol. And a lot of those conversations, I remember I've had conversations with you, but I don't remember the substance of the conversation with people when you're drinking. Yeah. You know, you start just having a good time, and then it becomes the drinking. You're like, what did we talk about? I know we were out last night. At least with this, one, it's documented, and two, you got to be on your game, because you don't want to make a bad product that people are going to see and waste somebody's time.
Oh, I know, like, because I've done a couple episodes where I've had a few drinks, and one of them's gone really good, and one of them's like, oh man, I probably could have done that better, but there was some inebriation involved, you know, and I'm like, I probably shouldn't have done that. So now it's like, you know, okay, I got a rule now. No more PM podcasts, and like 10 a.m. is like my deal. I'm like, all right, we're gonna work out, we're gonna have coffee, we're going to have a productive conversation, you know, because, you know, you don't want to be fogged. You know what I mean? Now I've had way too much fucking caffeine. It's going the opposite direction, but.
Everything affects. I'll record any time of the night, it all makes me better. And I can do that. And especially if somebody will say, I'm not a talker. Ooh, that's going to be a challenge for me. Now I got to pull the conversation out and try and work harder. So it's all a challenge. It's all making us better. Reps and repetition towards speaking. I want to be so good at speaking that I'm at a banquet or a dinner or something, and somebody can walk up to me and say, Nick, the keynote speaker couldn't make it. Can you go up there and talk about X? And 100% I want to say, yeah, absolutely. And I get up, with no notes, no anything, no preparation, go up and speak.
Well, I know for sure you got the voice. I remember that first few times I seen your clips on Instagram or whatever. I'm like, man, this guy's like the jacked male, like Delilah. You know what I'm saying? You remember the radio show? Like,
No.
you know, Delilah did. It was like this lady who was like real late at night on the radio, and she would like talk about relationships and sex and stuff.
I probably know if I heard it.
She had a really calm, like very monotone. It was like it made you want to listen to that person speak.
Okay.
You know, and I'm like, that's what you remind me of, the male version.
People, thank you. I'm glad you clarified. No, yeah, people have told me that. My voice has changed over the last year. More practice, and I didn't believe somebody, so I went back and listened. And now, when Delta told me, he goes, "Yeah, there's muscles in your throat and everything. The more you speak, the more
Damn right there is.
Yeah, right. The more you speak, the more you work at it, and your voice will change. You'll get more workout and more reps and repetition and on that. It's everything. So
I know my issue is I have to try and slow down because I'm a fast talker and like I've got an accent too. So I'm like, sometimes I'll say stuff on a podcast. I'm like, what? I don't even know what I said. I'm like, I need to slow that thing down a bit, man.
there's no rush.
Yeah.
There's no rush with anything. We try and rush through everything to just get it done, and we just sit and having a conversation. And if nobody listens to it, that's fine. Like I said, it's just you and me and sitting here, and maybe we'll get something out of it.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody will, and maybe they won't. But but people are going to see, yeah, they're out there doing that. And that's the whole thing I'm trying to get at is I won't tell you to do anything. If you ask me about the gym, I'll tell you what I do, and you can do whatever you want with that information. I'm not going to tell you need to quit drinking. I'm not going to tell you need to do this. I'm going to say, this is what I did, and this is how much it's changed my life. And I hope it inspires you to do something to make a change in yours, because nobody does anything unless they have to or they want to. And you got to get them towards the want to end of things. And if people that are in my community or that follow me or that think something of me, right, see me do something that I said I was going to do, and then I actually do it, that might motivate them to do something. And that's the whole basis behind everything.
Oh, dude, 100%. I know I tend to do a little bit too much. I put it a lot on my plate, and I have to like dial it back because I mean I've got a few businesses going, and I do too much at once, but I constantly remind myself, like, you still have to do that thing you started though, you know, and because I know one thing, what I'll do is if I let a few people know close to me that I'm actioning on this, I'm starting this business, I'm doing this podcast, I'm doing whatever it is, like I'm accountable because it's almost like they're depending on me to follow up with what I said, you know? And when people see that and they see you work on projects and they come to fruition, that motivates them too, you know?
People like to see the journey.
Yeah.
Like with the drinking for me.
Yeah.
I tell everybody that I don't drink. I tell them why I got sober. It's changed my life. Mm-hmm. And the more people I tell, the more people that hold me accountable. In my mind, I'd be disappointing 8 people, 200 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people.
19,000.
19,000 people now. And that's a big thing. Now, I haven't thought about going back to it. The benefits, like as I said, nothing feels as good. There's no drink I've ever had that feels as good as squatting 500 pounds. So I don't know
what that feels like, but
whatever. But it's So you got to have people keep accountable and keep accountable to yourself. But I don't know. I left group when I was isolated back in Wisconsin, and now it feels a lot better to have the community back around me and be part of it, and at least contributing in a way that is helpful again. And it's
I know a lot. That's what I think a lot of guys have a problem with. I know for me, like, because I'm still in the guard and all that, but whenever because I kind of left the teams on like kind of a bad note per se. And what I really started to miss, it was the guys. You know, it was being around the boys, being on the team, all that stuff, the community. And you got to have that. You got to seek it, you know, and you found it again, right? So I'm sure, like we talked about earlier, like, you know, it's not, success isn't determined in a dollar amount. It's not determined in how much shit you have. It's, man, how happy are you with your life? How do you see it going? You know, how do you feel with those around you? And you can find that again. And I think that's where some guys get lost and suicidal or depressed or drugs addiction is because they've lost their community, you know, and it's out there, man. You can find it.
You can. The mental health it's a house of cards, man.
Brother, tell me about it.
You can have it all, and people say, you know, I'm good. Recently, I've been telling people, I ain't good. I'm going through a hard time. Honestly, I'm going through a hard time, but I ain't going anywhere. All I talk about is trying to get, well, not all I talk about, but one of my big things is, man, we got to do something to stop this. You know, this is actually what happens to the people around you when you check out early. This is what happens. Like, and I'm being honest and making content, which is depressing in itself. But when people are like, I'm fine, I go, no, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Nobody
There's
is really,
something. There's something that bugs you, and that you don't tell anybody about. And you don't have to tell anybody what it is. You don't have to even talk about it. But you just go, you know, just be a little honest. You don't have to be all the way honest, but that's okay. That's a whole thing as well. It takes a lot of courage to tell people what's actually going on, because mental health is only real once you speak it into existence. These things, if you keep it to yourself and bottle it up, you can just say, I'm fine, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then one day you're not good. I use the glass of trauma. You ever watch these murder documentaries? And the detective was always like, this is the case that broke me.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I retired after that one. That's because you get a glass. That's your whole life, right? You can take X amount of trauma. And then once you fill that glass up, the glass goes away and all of it spills out. And you can't handle it anymore. It's not spilling over the top. You lose the ability to handle it anymore, and then you retire. You're done. You got to move on to a different field and things like that.
Man, that's a good analogy. Really good, because I've noticed, you know, because you get traumas, you get whatever injuries, you get these things that accumulate over time, and because I know some of the therapy sessions that I've had in the past, it's like they like start to identify from the beginning, like, and then you start to realize, whoa, I've had all this shit build up all this time and I haven't, you know, addressed it. No wonder I'm so fucked up, you know, and you got to address the little things along the way, you know, all of it.
Fuck yeah, you do. But especially in the special operations community, with the inability to say no to anything, whether that's from the op-tempo side of things or you just don't want to let the guys down, that's a big one, right? But just go. There's no time to second guess any of those decisions. And you look back on it and go, would you have made any different of a decision that would put you in a different place from now? Everybody would have made the same decisions at the same time, even knowing what they know now. They would have done the same thing, but maybe we could handle things a little differently. Here's one, right? So I recently was talking to a friend of mine. So I got concussions out on the ocean in training. In training, I got hurt, a bunch of them in a row. Mm-hmm. And that led to 3 years path to getting medically retired out. I'm pretty okay today. Around the same time, this guy, similar age, everything to me, similar thing happened to him. Didn't get it taken care of. Then went downrange and got even more fucked up. And then again, got another car accident after that. So just more injuries exacerbated on that. And now we're at the same point in life. He's still alive. I'm not. I'm pretty okay. He's not pretty okay. And so it's different paths of which one you can take. Where I went and got medically retired, and I'm, good. And you make the decision to go stay on the team, and that gets you where it is. Would you have made the same decision knowing where you are now? I have no idea. But it all builds on it. Would we change anything? I don't know. It depends on where you are now.
I think it comes to, because we have those traits, those high drive traits, and a lot of men do. And like my last guest, Ty, he owns the facility here, and we talked about that. Like, learning how to say no to certain things or dialing back stuff, like, you know, because you get burnt out, you get crashed out, or you just do too much, or you go to the school. Maybe you should not go to that school. Maybe you know, you kind of forget to take care of yourself, you know, and it's like managing that trait of, I can do anything. I'm fucking invincible. I'm an operator, so they fucking pay me to do. You know, I'm the best. Like, that's okay. But you got to learn how to manage that trait so you perform in a healthy way.
Again, our medication was what? Alcohol.
Yeah.
So how did we manage it? By just drinking poison. So you're not gonna think clearly, and you're not gonna learn how to manage anything. And it works, right? You can just go to the shopette and get another drink.
Tax-free, brother.
Right? Yeah. And that kept you going. And then we're still succeeding, right? You're still on a team. You're still a Green Beret. And you're drinking every night. I'm not saying for everybody, but
yeah.
And it could be anything. You're self-medicating with anything. I'm just using alcohol because it's the easiest one. But, you know, living a fast life. And I don't know. I ask this question to people on the show. I said, did you stop and take a look around and appreciate what you were doing? And almost everybody says no. And I feel like there was almost no thought. When you're in it,
yeah,
there's no thought towards that because every time in your life is the first time you've ever been right here. So you don't know what you're doing until you get to be in that senior position. But then as soon as you figure out what you're doing, you get promoted out or you get a new role. They seem like every time. So every time you're in this role where you're like, fuck. And so there's no moment to take a breath. And then we get schools, deployments, taskings. You know, Sergeant Major yells down the hallway, I need the guy for this. You're going to go, yeah, I'll do that. Especially I was in. Like, I'd said yes to everything because I was fucked up.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be not useful, so I said yes to
everything.
everything.
It's hard not to whenever you're like, you want to let them know you are valuable and you want to feel valuable yourself and you want to create more skill. And it's, you know, it's hard to be a no guy and, you know, and soft in general. It's fucking hard.
Yeah, especially when it's just a yes, everything, a volunteer to get to this next level and things like that. But nobody would change a thing. You know, nobody would. It's okay. Now it's ended. Now what do I do? Right? Because you lose your uniform, you lose your status, you lose your purpose, and now you got to go create something in civilian clothes.
Yeah.
Well, I worked really hard to get to that point where I had that, and now it's gone. So who am I? And we spoke on the way over here about, you know, people who make it their whole personality. Fuck yeah, they do make it their whole personality. Do you know how hard it is to achieve some of these things? Yeah. Like wrestling, your son, right?
Yeah.
Very seldom. You know how hard it is to have your hand raised after winning in double overtime where the next point wins and you are exhausted and you fucking beat that person and then the ref raises your hand and you can barely stand up. There's nothing like that. You know how much dedication in a tournament and you win, you know, and you get handed your Green Beret, the thousands of hours and meals and studying and all these other things. And to complete some of these schools and win and just win, there's nothing like it. And to be the best, you have to make these things your personality. Like that's what it takes. You have to sell your soul sometimes to do these things.
Yeah, I think I tend to forget like all the time and dedication and sacrifice it takes for something like that, you know, like be it SF or, you know, Ranger Bat or SEAL, like you name it. And then you have to sometimes, like, because I'm pretty nonchalant about it most of the time, you know, because my platform is not to discredit anything like that, but let's figure out what we're doing afterwards. You know, how can we learn some other things and adapt to the civilian life, which I'm in the National Guard, so I've been a 50% civilian anyways, but
it's a different animal.
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother fucking world trying to be a productive operator and a civilian, have a civilian job. It's almost,
God,
I wouldn't say impossible.
Lawyers and doctors and they're going to go be a Green Beret. Like, oh my God, good for you guys. That's awesome. I was in the place where I needed to be, but I don't want to use the term burn the boats, but you ever seen the movie Gattaca?
No.
So there's this scene in the movie Gattaca, and The brother is genetically enhanced, right? This is in the future. Their gene
Okay.
editing is a thing. So the brother's enhanced and he's not.
So it's like
And
you're
they-
like the brother, I'm like the little guy.
I guess.
Go ahead,
Yeah. For all intents and
Yeah, yeah.
purposes, right? And they would always compete, and they would swim out into the lake, and the brother would always win. He'd always win because he was fitter, he was faster, he's genetically superior, right?
Yeah.
So there's one scene at the end where the non-enhanced brother finally beats him, and because they just swim and swim until he can't swim anymore, and the other brother can't take it, and he like has to rescue swim him back to shore, and he asks him later in this next scene or something, he goes, "How did you beat me?" And he goes, "I didn't leave any energy for the return trip, and that's why I beat you." And that's what it takes to succeed at some of these things. You have to disregard everything else in your life sometimes to win. And you'll disregard your family, your personality, your morals sometimes.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
you will become that person. And then you know how hard that is to let go after a certain. So what do we do at that point? Well, we find a healthy way to hang on. There's an unhealthy way to hang on, and then there's a healthy way to hang on. I feel like that's what I'm trying to do. With what I'm trying to build and work with people and just be honest about, yep, it's a very rewarding career. You will get a lot out of it. But I didn't get to do everything I wanted to do either. I mean, I was only on teams for 90 days and I got hurt and then I went to B teams and battalion for 3 years off and on. So I got a lot of gas left in the tank. You can ask a lot of me still. I didn't do my 20 years, so I feel like I have more to give. But yeah, you want to do things in a healthy and seemingly sane way.
Yeah, it's hard to find balance. I know for me and a lot of guys like guard guys, it's being on a team is difficult, and a lot of them they just kind of stay on orders, and that's how it's like they kind of choose to be the team guy. And if you don't have a family, that's kind of easy to do, but it's just weird because in the guard, like you live somewhere, and if you don't live next to your unit, because you can live anywhere in the U.S. and be in your unit, and
crazy,
it's like,
isn't it?
and then any little thing you do, you have to leave the house. It's not like driving to work and back unless you're like full-time guard or something like that. So, I mean, I know like I did school after school, like, because, when you first get to the team, you're the yes man, and I tried to go to every group level school, some others, and I was gone all the time. And even the group level schools, it made me be away from home. So whereas normally like whatever active duty guy would be at the house because he's just driving in to do that training or that day-to-day stuff, like I would have to drive 3 hours away or whatever it is, and be away from the family. So it's like, man, I really kind of robbed my kids of some shit. So I changed my perspective in a way that, okay, there's a balance in satisfaction and sacrifice you got to have. And like your kids are not going to remember that, you were a dive medic or, like that's not, they're not worried about that right now.
They better remember, guys.
Right. I'm just like, they're worried about like, they're used to dad not cooking breakfast because he's always fucking gone. So like, and I still do work overseas and stuff now, but whenever I'm home, I've learned to be more present and try not to think about too much and try to let them know that I'm there. Cook them breakfast, wake them up, like all that stuff. Like that shit's important,
When you're home, be home.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's hard. And that's why I have an office too now, man. Cause even when I'm home, like, cause I have businesses and shit and I'm like, I noticed that I would go Oconus, do some work or whatever, come back. And then I'm just on my computer at my house. And I'm like, I got to separate this. I know I need a studio. I need an office. Anyways, the home office is not ideal. So, and most of the time I'll leave my computer here and go home. I don't even bring my laptop home because I know if the computer's there, I'm going to be on it and I'm not going to pay attention to my kids because like we're the yes men. We want to get shit done, right? So it's hard.
And that's what we apply from our time in the military. Just work hard. I tell people special operations is very easy. All you have to do is work your ass off.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
And it sounds counterintuitive, but working your ass off is easy. Going to the gym and lifting heavy and hard, that's easy. Sticking to a plan and a meal plan and a routine and the dedication and I got to get my sleep. I got to eat my protein. I got to do this.
Yeah.
That's monotonous. That's boring. You know,
But it's hard
working
work.
really hard, just finding something, working really hard at it. Hey, you got to accomplish this goal. All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
You know, that's easy. And man, if I just put this extra time in, if I work here and put this aside and just work on this, we can get to this level. But there's no finish line with anything in life. There's always, you get over one hill and there's another hill on the other, just like Sisyphus. So what do we have to do? We have to find meaning in the suffering, right? In what it is, because life, that's all it is suffering. And
Yeah.
So what am I, what is success to me? I don't know. I accomplished all these goals that I set for myself in my career. I was a Green Beret. I did this. I'm as strong as I want to be. I'm as fit as I want to be. So now we just work towards longevity, right? And helping other people and being a good example. And, being a friend to people when they need a hand. And giving people that I guess have chosen not to be here anymore, taking as bad as this is to say, the lessons learned from their mistakes and applying it to people that are here and hopefully get people to change their views or choose differently in a split-second decision. That would be success for me. But it's, as we said, different for everybody. And you're not going to find it. It's going to change also every day. It changes based on my mood when I'm successful, because we're all human. Based on what you eat. If you're not eating a correct diet, your moods and your hormones are going to be all over the place. And so that's growing up. And it's a shame that it takes so long to figure these things out. But I'm glad that I'm figuring it out now when I'm at the age I am. But that's only because I got medically retired. I'm only able to do this and have this perspective and do these things because I got hurt. That sucks. Getting hurt blows. Like, I wish I wouldn't have got hurt. I wish I was still a Green Beret. I wish I could still wear my uniform. But I can walk into the Group Sergeant Major's office and say, Billy, what's up? And then I can walk right across the street into the team room and talk to the junior dude that just got there out of the Q course and say what's up to him as well. So I got this weird position. And I don't take that lightly. So I got to take that very seriously. So now I have to do all the boring stuff and be an example and just be a good person. And
that's awesome, dude. And that's the whole premise of this podcast, is because I realized that whenever sometimes you think that you're not in the place that you should be, maybe you are. And
imposter syndrome, you mean?
Yeah, or like, so, because I had a very bad year, right? It was like 23, 24.
Oh.
And I mean, you name the addiction, I had it, brother, but I was fit. No one could tell. Jacked as fuck. Showed up to work. Did all the things, but I was failing in some military things. I was, had a lot of trouble there. And it was kind of a crash and burn that no one's seen. And I had a few weeks of that happen. And then I left the team, or got technically booted. I had an opportunity to go back, but I started to realize that I need a break from everything, and I need to work on myself. Left my job, everything, just solo dolo. And that ended up being the fucking best thing that ever happened to me. Never made more money, never been, I became a better dad and husband, and where I thought that where I was being a failure by leaving those things or doing bad at those things, I kind of had to crash and burn for a minute to focus on myself. And I look at that as a good mistake. It felt like a mistake at the time, but I'm glad it happened. And maybe there were mistakes, but I'm glad that it happened because it put me in a better position where I am today. And like you said, you can mentor people from it now. This is where I fucked up. Maybe you can do it better. Maybe not. But
people are still going to make the mistakes.
Yeah.
So they're just going to make different mistakes.
Yeah.
And hopefully not as destructive, right?
Yeah.
We spoke about bench, you with all these exercises, get there's no excuse these days. Information's out there. Just get the correct information from some. But then it's hard, and then where's the line, right? Is if I didn't make the mistakes, you didn't make the mistakes, we didn't fall on our face or suffer, and then it's nothing compared to what some other people have been through, like dying, suffering, living in a shack in poverty, right? Then there's but suffering for us, to suffer, to put ourselves, to make us into a tool, into a weapon, right? So if we wouldn't have been through those things and made those mistakes, where would we be a different person? So you also have to mentor people into making their own mistakes as well, so that they can, be tempered
Yeah. Yeah.
to the world, because it's a shocking thing to see, actual poverty and actual suffering in the rest of the world, or actual trauma.
Oh, yeah.
Live tissue training, very traumatic. That's not even the real thing, right? That's
Right,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
controlled environment. So it's all building towards something, and towards what? To leave a legacy, as you with your kids, right?
Yeah.
Your children should be an extension of you, not you living through them.
Yep.
So you're the example for little people that live with you, and you have to be. That's the goal, is to be and they keep you accountable as well. I want them to have the things I didn't have, but the things you didn't have made you who you are.
Yeah.
It's not giving them to them. So where's the line of I'm being stern or I'm being too soft and things like that? And because the pendulum always swings, right? The person who said the most profound thing on my show this year was Bruce Parkman. He's the chairman of the Mac Parkman Foundation. His son committed suicide related to sports-related head trauma, TBIs. And he started the Mac Parkman Foundation. His son was named Mac Parkman. And he came on my show and he said, I think about it every day. He said, today's generation has known nothing but love their entire lives. And he said, my generation was not that way.
Yeah.
We were raised by fathers who were angry men who came home and took it out on the family. I'm not saying that for everybody. This is just what he said. Generational.
Yeah.
And then that led into SF. We select for that. I'm the anomaly where I didn't have that, in a field. I still have the traits, but that's not where I came from. Maybe it's because of the setting I was raised in with the farm and things like that, but not any of that. And so we have a different thing of this next generation coming up that know nothing but love. So maybe the things and the lessons and everything that have gone through it the past 2-3 generations, maybe that's not going to apply because the pendulum swings back the other way. So it's all learning, and I go back to perspective, right? Talking to as many people as you can and actually thinking about what they say and taking the time to understand where somebody's coming from and what they mean and their life experiences and how can I best help them and myself and keep it all in this 18 Fox network that I've got in my head, right, to help people. Because there's a lot of us, right, in special operations. Big community, a small world. I can get it. You or I could get a message to any living Green Beret in probably 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's tremendous power.
Yeah.
But we're also so disconnected in the way of thinking. You can see that in the comments on social media. And inability to read sarcasm. Text does not convert sarcasm into reality. Every time I go, oh man, I know what this person means, but that's not going to go over well. Yeah. So we're very connected, and we're also. McChrystal said that in his book, or his TED Talk. He said, "I never in the history of the world did a general have more assets at reach, but he was so disconnected from the operation that he was watching on his screen. He had no control over what was going on, right? And we leave the team room. We leave group, whether it's retired, medically retired, ETS or whatever, and we look towards the brotherhood to make us feel better because we're going into the stages of grief, right? When we get out, when we separate. And this is for all soldiers. Yeah. And you look towards the people that you were with every day. They didn't go anywhere. You did. You left. That's not for bad. You made the decision to leave, so we get hurt as moral injury from looking back for the people that we left to be there for us. They're still in the job. They still have PT in the morning. They have a family. They're stuck on base. They're in the fantasy world of the military. And so we get depressed. and we seclude ourselves, and we go into this slump, into the stages of grief, right, and anger, and we treat ourselves, and then we disconnect from the community. And only when we create our own team or we join somebody else's is when we start to feel better.
Oh, 100%, dude. Because I specifically remember my low point was due to isolation. 1,000,000%. Because you've spent all these years and this time building up this team thing and this brotherhood and this bond, these people, and you don't have to be on an ODA to have this, like you said. And then you take that away and it's like, okay, I didn't realize how much I depended on that, and then here I am, like I got to wake up every day like a regular person and do regular people shit and talk to regular people. Like, I think one reason which I do some contracting, but I work for myself because I can't fit in with these motherfuckers, I just, right. At what cost? Cost dependent, right? And I mean, a lot of guys go get their MBAs and they, whatever, but I know for sure, I learned a lot about myself, realizing that, okay, I might not have fit into the team either. And it's like, maybe I accepted that too. And I also accept that maybe I don't fit in with everyone else in society. And I've never been happier or more successful or level-headed, realizing that, okay, the more I learn about myself in these scenarios, I'm actually a lot better off. And I think being a high performer and stuff like, and then going on the ODA, doing all that shit, and still not quite cracking it the way I should have, like really left a dark hole in my heart. But at the end of the day, sometimes you got to be real with yourself. Like maybe I could perform well as a team guy. Maybe the environment wasn't right, maybe whatever, but you still need that community, right? So there's still that part of you that you got to have. So
we don't do anything by ourselves. The only thing we did by ourselves is land nav and the gates, right? The gates I don't even count, because if you show up and you're not in shape, then you don't need to be there.
Well, I say that but also saying that you still got to have that connection, even if that scenario didn't work out, even if this job didn't work out, whatever it may be, like there's still something there that you got to have, there's still a bond.
You ever see those videos and it's like the title caption, it goes, "This is the moment Kanye realized that he didn't want to fuck with these people." And you can just see his face change and he's just looking around going, I got to get the fuck out of here.
Dude, I like Kanye, man. I love that dude. He's hilarious.
He's got a screw loose, but that feeling when you finally go, what the fuck am I doing here? You're at a party and everybody's drinking and have a good time. I'm just staying sober, and you go, we're not having the same conversation anymore.
We're like, why have I been doing this?
Yeah.
Like what have I been doing? Has this been doing this for me? Like
that's the have to or want to thing.
Yeah.
And then you realize I want to change.
Yeah.
My location, my setting. I want to go do something else. Yeah. Again, it's all experience, right? It's all things, and you can look back and analyze it. That's probably the most important part, is to look back and actually see, what did I learn from this situation? Can I take away lessons learned or even just a little piece of advice for myself to improve me next time? But God, it takes so much to get to even that point where you care enough about yourself to look back on the mistakes you've made and say, how can I not make these again? And that's just so much pain and suffering to get to that point that it's a reflection upon your former self is painful, because you got to drum up those memories. I don't want to think about when I was a dickhead. And it's like, oh, I said what? Oh my God, I can't believe I said that or did that.
Personal accountability, man.
Okay, you know what? That's people message me and they'll try and drum up something about somebody I associate with. And I go, I don't care about in the past. This person is nice to me now.
Right.
They don't speak for me, but I associate with them because they're nice to me and I'm nice to them. And until somebody either misrepresents themselves to me or fucks me over, then I'm fine with the people. I get everybody's got a past and they might have fucked you over. That I haven't had that experience. I can't draw my conclusions about a person based on what you're telling me in a message.
Right.
If we're in person, it might be a different conversation, but I cannot go off of what that. And I try and be real with people. It's what we're doing now. It's what you're doing right now. Now, if there's a few inexcusables, where you go, somebody messaged me, I go, I probably got to look into that.
Yeah.
And I got to change my stance. And I go, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
But almost everybody, my old team sergeant can go fuck himself.
Yeah. Fuck that guy. Yeah.
That is.
There's always a fuck that guy out there.
Policy of lesser known operators is we're very positive, and I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, unless you're my first team sergeant. That guy can go fuck himself.
Oh yeah, my first team sergeant was fucking amazing, and the problem is I had that to compare the other ones to. Didn't turn out so well, but also I'm an asshole, so that's part of it. But
all right. So
we could skip that.
I sat down with Sergeant Major after. I'm on a high. I graduate in the Q course. I'm a Green Beret. Yes, I know I'm going to be the new guy again.
Yeah.
I've been in the regular Army. I know what it's like to be a private. I'm a sergeant now, but there's no
you're
sergeants.
an E6 private
when
you're in your SF. Or
E5,
yeah.
I mean, I had to get the waiver from my unit to get the specialist so I could PCS to go to the course because I was still brand new when I got selected. So, I sit down with Sergeant Major. He's like, "Can you swim?" No. Great. You're going to the dive team. Obviously, right? And Charlie 4. This is 2000, beginning of 15, and SF is full at this point. We're graduating, huge graduating classes, 6 or 8 a year, and Special Forces is full. Not how it is today, where we just ghosted a team in every company, right?
Yeah.
And they might ghost another one. But so I'm Charlie 4, and I went to a bad team with a bad mojo, I guess is the word for it. And the first thing we did as a team, I got hurt, and that was it. That was all my team time. I don't remember it. So, the reason that I harbor that is he had the opportunity to send me home when I got hurt, and he didn't. And he overruled the captain, who was brand new. And then I got hurt again, and then it was over. So, I tell people, you got to get over things. Some things you need to keep. Yeah. You need to keep some things for motivation and hate. And I'm going to hold on to that.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, haters are motivators, or and it gives you that other perspective.
I'll never do that to somebody because of that.
There you go.
So, and that's always in my mind,
dude. And honestly, we learn lessons from good leaders, but we learn lessons from bad leaders too, right?
Like I said earlier, I don't remember any of the wrestling matches I won. I remember the ones I lost.
Yeah,
I remember that. I told you, I said I feel like a piece of shit for getting med dropped at selection my first time through. And I'm a Green Beret. Yeah. So that means I fucking redeemed myself. I came back, went and signed the waiver again, went back to selection, went through, and then went through the whole thing, got my Green Beret. And I still feel like a piece of shit from failing at selection the first time. We never forget. You will never forget quitting. You will never get over it.
I went to, so I was on the dive team, went to pre-dive and failed pre-dive. And this was like 2020 or something, or 2021. I don't know. And once a month, I'm like, I'm still in the Guard. I can go back to dive school. I'm like, and I'm like, fuck, man, time's ticking. But I think about it all the time. Well, there's a lot of history of that too. Like fucking, my dad was a diver, all that stuff, so I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I got to do it before I'm too fucking old. I mean, I know a lot of guys that went older than me, but I suck at it. That's one thing.
My buddy's a sergeant major, and he's 50, and he's talking about trying to go.
Well, I'll go with him. If he's 50 and he goes, I got no reason not to.
We had a guy on 1235, and he had just passed, I think he was 44 or something like that, 45. And he was the oldest or second oldest to graduate dive school. That's impressive.
Yeah.
I swim a lot. 3 to 5 days a week now, and there is no way in hell I would pass one man. I could dedicate my life to trying to pass one man, and I still don't think I could do it.
Dude, it's tough. And I'm so arrogant that I thought that if I was just in shape, I'd be good. It's like, dude, I've showed up to almost every other school, and not read anything and just passed it. You know what I mean? But that's not that is
little
not how
water.
you're supposed to live.
There's very little water in those schools.
Dude, I found out quick. I'm a dense motherfucker too. Like, it's funny, they had like, it's almost like they had a minority section in the pool plus me. For real.
A minority section in the pool.
You know, but I mean, honestly, and I was like, but I was the most sinking white guy in the whole thing, dude. Like, straight to the bottom. But no, really, dude, it was tough. But anyways, that, like, I learned from that shit, man.
It's so well worded.
Like, I'm not big on PR, but that's just the truth. Like, you know, and fuck, I sucked at it, and I failed, and I think about it all the time, dude. Yeah. All the time. I'm like, man, why did I not prepare myself better? Why did I not, you know, what the fuck, dude? Like,
I will tell you one win though that I think about all the time is the one thing that I poured all of my energy into, and I think about it all the time, is I never missed a land nav point when it came time.
Yeah,
because I was paranoid. I was so afraid that I didn't know the standard, because selection, you don't know the standard.
Yeah.
And then when I went through the Q course, there was another land nav that was harder.
Yeah.
That you had to go do, and I got
dude,
that.
I did that motherfucker 3 times.
Which, the star and
well, no, I was a one go at selection, but in the Q course,
IUW,
dude, yeah, I did that phase 3 or 4 times. Oh my god, it's wild, dude. Yeah,
those cadres said you get 5 tonight, you're done. I used 100% on the dot of all my energy. I heat catted out there.
Hell yeah, dude.
Fucking went red or black on water.
Yeah.
I came in a couple minutes before, set my stuff down, and I got on the bus. A hurricane came in, shit on those guys all the next night. I sat on the couch for 3 days, and I couldn't do anything. I was smoked, but I found it all. And man, I think about that win all the time. It's like, I am so glad, because there was nothing left. There was nothing left to go out that second night. I left nothing for this return back to the shore.
Dude, yeah, I did not. I always got all of them on the first night too, and I'm like, I do not want to be a 2-day guy. And because after you get them all the first day, and you're leaving on that bus, and you're looking out those faces out there, like they got to be out there another day or whatever. You're like,
they fucking got shit on. The moment we got on the bus, it started pouring, and it rained until index the next day, and they must have recycled like 180 people. There's 250-ish of us. 50 passed the first night, 20 passed the second night. That's one thing I try and tell people. I go, do you know how many anti-ambassadors to Special Forces we made during IUW?
Yeah.
We were sending qualified dudes that would have graduated right back to the 82nd.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. You know?
Dude, I got recycled for, like, again, I'm an asshole, and I don't like rules, for breaking character. And you know how, do you have to do the thing where you acted like a G-Force, the role play deal?
Oh, yeah.
They recycled me for breaking character. That's a fucking long story, but at the end of the day, it's because I got an attitude with an E8. But and I already passed all the gates.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah,
the breaking character. I think everybody was doing that.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
Well, at the end of the day, it's because I wouldn't. I'm like, look. I basically told it. You know, I'm a E4 or E5, whatever it was at the time, and an E8's like grilling me, and this guy he's in Robin Sage. I'm a new guy, and the guy at Sage really fucked up. But they were grilling me about it, and I was like, almost verbatim, I said, "Fuck you, motherfuckers! Give me a lie detector test." I didn't do that. you don't say that to a fucking seasoned E8 that's in charge of like Sage.
That sounds like a great mistake.
Yeah, dude. I found out quick. They almost booted me for that.
For everybody listening at home, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, I almost got booted for that for sure. But they're like, "Well, since you passed all the gates, we're gonna fucking give you another shot." And then I was in the. You know about the Ruckpocalypse?
Oh, everybody knows. Yeah. Well, there's the Trail of Tears, and then there's the Ruckpocalypse. Was that with Castaneda?
Yeah, I think that was his name. Yeah, there was an email at the time, all kinds of stuff. But like everyone like heat catted and went to the ER and shit. I was in that ruck. So I will be honest, I failed a ruck in the Q course once, and they gave me a freebie. But it's because so many dudes went to the ER. So
I couldn't believe the amount of, for lack of a better term, dead bodies on the side of the ruck trail.
Were you there?
We were. So I started IUW in, it had to be July, I think, of 14.
Okay.
And 14 or 13. No, yeah, 13. And we started like 2, 3 in the morning. And right at the finish line, there's just people just lying. Because they're sticking IVs in them, trying to bring them back. There was very minimal. I think the Ruck Apocalypse one was close to where my class was. And I can't believe IUW went on as long as it did, just killing people.
Yeah, dude.
Killing their careers. People would overheat and I heard about people getting kicked out of the military, medboarded from IUW.
Yeah, dude. And so this was wild. So like, and I'd finished SOCM, right? So I'm already a medic and whatever. I've done plenty of fucking rucks. You know what I mean? This one was it was a little different. You know, I can never say, because I'm a soldier, I can never say that. I can never blame the conditions why I failed. I try not to be that guy.
I will blame the conditions.
However, there was a point where like, okay, because I was in the class prior and crushed it. And it was a different leadership element there. And they made sure there was like a water, like ice and shit there. Like there was like certain things that were a little different that you didn't have like a few weeks later, you know? And it was very evident because it was like, I remember one stretch being on this fucking ruck and it was like, you could see for like 1,200 meters down a straight, you know, fire break. And it was like people were getting sniped, dude. It was like poof, poof. And I was like, oh, maybe it's not just me sucking this bad. There was definitely a different tone in that. And I don't know what it was, and they started stopping dudes. They're like, okay, you're borderline. And I was like, borderline. I'm still running a 15 average, like almost on the dot.
Running,
yeah. And it was like mile 9. They're like, you guys can't keep going. We're like, why? I think like I'll be good. I got a few more miles. I'm going to gut out the rest. I still got water, like whatever. And they're like, no.
It was 1,000 degrees outside.
And the reason they were stopping people that may have made it, I don't know if I would have heat cat or not, because they had so many heat cats from 9 to 12. They're like, we got to stop. We're going to get fucked. We're going to get in trouble. But
what a weird time. And I think I know which class you're talking about. And people just,
But my buddies, dude, they, I had a few buddies that finished and they were at the house, bro. We were giving them, I was treating their rhabdo so they can go on to the next phase because they knew that they didn't want to recycle. So I had like 6 dudes at my house that I had buddies sending me selfies from the ER also. And then there was like dudes at the house, like I was giving IVs, like treating their rhabdo at the house.
That's what it takes to graduate too at that time. I'm borderline because rhabdo's no joke. You
can die from it, man. Yeah.
When I was a G, I had a tooth start hurting. And I didn't go to the dentist on post. I went off post and had him pull that motherfucker.
Oh, no.
So I didn't have to recycle or miss. So the doctor, because I knew they were going to give me a profile and have me take it easy. Fuck that. I had that tooth pulled and I went right back to training.
Dude, I was in the course so long, like people call me the longest Q course guy, but there was longer. But I tore my ACL in the course. And the rehab for that was a meniscus. I didn't know it at the time, but dude, I tore my ACL in SOCM and I tried to do the Q course with no ACL. I didn't know how bad it was because they didn't tell me because I was trying to keep it under wraps. And then I get surgery and the cadre were talking shit to me, and you can't talk shit to guys like us. So like even then they're like, hey, can you go on to this next like SUT? I was like, well, my surgeon hasn't released me. You know, like I need like another 60 days until I'm good. Because it had been like only 7 months, 6 months, whatever it was. I didn't meet the criteria of healing time to go, according to the surgeon. And they're like, and then they started talking shit. They're like, oh, motherfucker, you just going to be here like forever, you little bitch, you know? Then I was like, you know what? Fuck you. So I went and like forged his signature and went right into SUT, and my shit was hurting, brother.
Now take some of those situations, right, and swap the roles.
Yeah.
So what are the cadre going through? What do you think the cadre getting pressure from their side? Because to go to a person and say, it's a student, because all you see is students, and that's all you see every day. You're very little, interaction with your peers. And when you do see them, they're dealing with students too. So all you're doing is talking about about fucking students, right? So, I guess they're assuming all of them are fucking lying or like faking to get out of training.
Dude,
so you start
100%.
So you start belittling, and then they get back into training. But I think about them now. They're who I am now, right? I'm the age of
Yeah.
some of those cadre.
Yeah.
But I may even be a little older now, but I started thinking, going, man, these people that were dealing with us, students,
Yeah.
not at SU, they're not teaching SUT, they're not teaching Robin Sage, they're not, maybe they get stuck being attacked, you know, and they don't want to be there. I'm just generalizing, but I'm trying to view some of these situations from their point of view at the time. Probably just come off a rotation. Their team just deployed again. You know, the Shopettes right across the street from the training company, dude. Right there. You know, and I just think of how many guys that I've found out now that were instructors or even in the course that were just drunk all the time. And I go, man, dude, what are these guys going through as well, having to deal with us? The fear of missing out with their guys that are gone. They just lost a friend and things like that. I go, what a strange time in Special Forces, because we had no idea what they were going through.
Oh, yeah,
they
man.
would just show up, either yell at us or just go. For my class, it was do whatever the fuck you want. It seemed every phase as the cadre just went, just do whatever you want, because there was no gaps. We would show up, we would pass a class, and they would give us a 4-day, and then we would just start the next class. So there was really no issues. It's when there were big gaps of time and where they're having to deal with students and stuff like that and passes and all this other leave and things. There was no holidays. There's no nothing. So we were in schools and things like that. But, yeah, I just trying to think of what the other side that we didn't see.
I'm sure dealing with a lot. I mean, I had a personal encounter. I almost literally fought one of the cadre.
Is that bad?
It was.
That sounds bad.
And it wasn't. So there was like an E3, like a private dude. He's an X-ray. He's still my friend today. Great 18 Delta, awesome dude. Okay. This, and I'm like out doing worker stuff. Like I'm helping one of the cadre hook a trailer up. I'm just, I'm a redneck at the end of the day. So I'm just like doing things like that. And then the buddy that's a private at the time is just kind of like standing there waiting for me because we're driving a truck together. And he's like waiting for me. And this dude comes out of nowhere, one of the casuals. He's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? He yells at the private dude. And I'm like, is he yelling at him? So I'm like, trail up. So I go over there and I'm at E5. So I'm like, oh, he's with me. Sorry, or whatever, Chuck. He's, I'm not fucking talking to you. Go away. I'm like, all right, cool. He's doing his cadre thing. I walked away. And he completely went fucking nuts on this poor kid. I say poor kid. He's probably like 28. And he's a grown man. But, Army, if you're a private, you're a kid in the Army, right? So like, you get treated like one. So maybe he's an E4. Anyway, so he's like yelling at him, and I'm like, man, this guy's acting fucking a little too overboard for this specific situation. So I take about 10 paces and I like do a shoulder check behind me just to make sure like he wasn't punching this dude because it just sounded like that. And he's like, what are you looking at, motherfucker? And I was like, I kind of do like a sorry thing, and he like go in the truck. This dude comes to the truck and like rips the door open, and he tells me he said, I will bash your motherfucking skull in and fucking kill you, motherfucker.
Specific.
And I'm like, and at the end of the day, we're men, dude.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're men. And I'm like, all right, motherfucker, I'll see you when we get back to the company. I said, no paperwork? He said, no paperwork. I said, I see you when we get back.
And the 15-6 that'll be initiated by the commander.
Hey, I was all for it, man. I was like, look, man, if I'm going to, I made a post one day about, there's a few things about you should be violent about. And it's, if you wouldn't let someone talk to you a certain way in front of your son or your father, that's when it's time to fucking handle some business, and this dude, but we got back there and I think he cooled down a bit. But, that guy.
He went to the shopette and got a tall boy.
Well, so we get back and I'm like, fuck, dude, I guess I'm doing this, Yeah, and I'm like, fuck it, let's roll. So I get out of the truck and I was like, what's up, Sergeant? Like, he's like, look, man, what happened back there? I'm like, fuck, you said you were going to kill me. And he's like, whatever, man. He was calm. He's like, go to formation. I was like, all right, dude, cool. But after that, he was so fucking cool with me because he's like, sometimes you overstep, but that guy's dealing with a lot probably.
I may have lost my temper.
Yeah, it happens, dude. And you know what? In hindsight, for a while, like after the course, I was like, if I see that fucking dude again, we're going out in the parking lot. Cause but now it's like, you know what? I know this is a 5th group guy. I'm sure he did a fuck ton of deployments, his age, like his MOS, like he's a no one wants to be instructor. Most people don't want to be a fucking Q course instructor for most phases, I'm sure he's dealing with a lot of shit. And he just carried it into work that day. And yeah, he did that, but there's more underneath, And you got to realize that shit. You know, you can't.
Everybody's going through something.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Everybody's suffering with some little thing that bothers them.
And I don't remember that guy's name, but I forgive you. Yeah, whatever.
That's Larry. You don't remember Larry?
Whatever.
No. I think that was probably more prevalent. Because in group, it was the same way. At least on your team, you know, you got your team room, you got your buddies, and you can shut the door, deal with stuff. But yeah, being an instructor and having to deal with the students, and you want to be a Green Beret?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
But I think about a lot of those things now and go, man, what else was going on that I just didn't know about? Because I think about the team room. When you're in the team room, you don't know what the other 5 teams are doing. You barely know what the B team's doing.
Yeah.
And the B team's fucked up. When you're on the team, the B team's fucked up.
Yeah.
When you're on the B team, the teams are fucked up, battalion's fucked up. Then you get to battalion and you go, oh my God, nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. Then you realize group doesn't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
No one does, really.
Nobody knows. You know, I just pick your own adventure and hopefully hang on and hope for the best. We have no capacity to understand what other people are going through because we barely understand what we're going through.
Oh yeah, man.
And again, we go back to I can work really hard and put my problems away and deal with them later, and we never deal with them.
Oh, dude, I know, and that's one thing I've started to try to learn about myself is like, oh man, I'm really fucking pissed off today. Like, why is it that the guy at the post office made me so fucking mad? I'm like, all right, let me take a pause and figure out what's really bothering me. You know, like what's the underneath thing? What's really going on? So I've like sit there and be my own therapist for a minute. I'm like, oh, it's because of this or like,
This is going to start affecting you. Believe it or not, you're going to start accumulating traumatic stories, and you're going to be so intently listening to that story that you're going to be there, listening to somebody's traumatic experience. And then you're going to be traumatized by it, and you're not going to know, and you're going to start to. They're going to start to weigh on you because you're going to start taking these things in, and going, oh man, that was really heavy. And then the next day you're going to take another one on, and then the same thing happens with caregivers or people in nonprofits that have to. What's the word? Adjudicate on, should I give this person care? Do I need to give money towards this foundation or this program to put this person out? Nobody reaches out. I wouldn't say nobody, but people reaching out that need help are not going through your run-of-the-mill problems. Like somebody cut me off in traffic. They're like bad.
Yeah.
And childhood trauma, losing buddies downrange. These are terrible things, and people have to listen to this why. You know, the why of why we need to support these things. God, the psychiatrists at the VA in the emergency walk-in section of it, man, they've helped me every time.
Ed goes up there.
I hate the VA, but I will tell you, the walk-in mental health, they've been there for me every time I've needed them, all 4 times, and they've been super nice. And that's probably the best part of the VA, I think. But there's a lot of different parts, and it's the person. But you're going to start to notice the more you hear these stories, and you go, you know, maybe I'm feeling depressed from the lessons and the stories and the trauma that I'm taking in from other people, because you sympathize. You, more than anybody else, will know what it's like to be on the ground when some of these things happen, way more than me. I'm having to imagine and things because I didn't get to go to combat, for better or for worse. And now I'm able to do the things I am, but I don't overextend my mission set. I don't overextend my experience and things like that. So, but you might hear something and then you're right back on the ground there with bullets flying or whatever the fuck. And might take you back to that experience that was traumatic for you and bring it up. And then you don't realize it because you think we're just talking, but we're not.
Dude, honestly, the most like that point is great because I don't got a lot of stories, like not on the podcast, but I was working VA cases for a while for a company and trying to get their rating higher and stuff. And it's a pay to play business, but still, like, you know, you're a veteran speaking to a veteran, you know, and there's like man, a lot of cases. I'm like, man, this is like. I end up being like, I'm just a guy that's trying to help them get a VA rating that they're paying for. I ended up having an hour and a half long conversation, and I'm like, am I a therapist today? And sometimes you gotta play that role as a veteran, man. You never fucking know, because they don't want to talk to a therapist. Sometimes they don't want to talk to whatever. They want to talk to someone who understands.
You could be saving their life,
and you don't know that. And it's like, like I was kind of like salty about trying to have to talk to this guy today, but let me just let him have someone to talk to. I mean, dude, I had a client, and I still think about this guy, man. This is like almost a year ago, and he blew me off. I didn't want to work with this no more. And he was an 18 Delta, and he was at like 85, 90% VA rating. And not everybody deserves 100%. I get it. But this fucking guy was shot in the head in Afghanistan. He has a plate in his head still, and he hasn't had a job in 2 years. And the VA still didn't have this guy at 100% for whatever reason. I don't know. But, and like, I don't talk to that guy on the phone and stuff. It's like, man, this guy's fucking hurting. And eventually he just blew me off. And, I think he found another resource. But I think I pissed him off because he didn't want to pay for something. And I was like, dude, I'll pay for it. Like, this isn't just a job for me, like, I'll pay for your appointments. And I think that pissed him off. So maybe it's a pride thing. I don't know. But I really just wanted to see this guy get what he needed. And then just having to talk to those people, and they're still not, the VA does great stuff, but also there's people slip through the cracks. Some people get everything. Some people don't get everything they deserve. And he was like one of them that really fucking broke my heart, because I couldn't imagine like going from that status, like being a great operator or whatever, getting hurt in combat, shot in the fucking head. And then you're at home, the guy's not working, he's smoking weed, like, which is fine if that's your therapy, it works for you, whatever. But like, that's all he's doing. And he needs stuff, and they're not fucking taking care of him, man. Like,
yeah. What, in that situation, what responsibility do we have to intervene, and what reach do we have? Right. Because you can see that happening, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
So at what point do we force the issue? Can we force the issue? Maybe not. And also with moderating these conversations and things, is you have to be so careful. I've been saying this phrase a lot lately. Be careful who you let drag you into hell, because you are no use to yourself once somebody brings you down to their level, because they might be going through the worst thing that you can't even imagine, and they'll bring you down there, and then you go, well, I'm useless now, and because you don't know how things are going to affect you. So you have to stay cognizant of, I have to stay at a level where I can be competent and take care of myself, because you have priorities. So it's a fucking balance, man. There's a balance, and it's tough, because you want to help people, you want to be there, but also you can only do so much. Somebody made a comment.
Can't help everybody, though.
You can't help everybody. Yeah. And somebody made a comment in one of my posts the other day. They said, yeah, special operations is cool, but the rest of the Army is like ghetto, like Waffle House ghetto. And I go, and that's a strange comment. I started thinking about it. I go, well, it's not the same. I started thinking, like, analyzing it. For some reason, it stuck in my head. Yeah. And I go, it's not the same. The regular Army and SOF is not the same.
Right.
There's different problems at different levels. We have this specific set of problems that we know generally all fall into these all categories, or that we don't have to deal with some of these things. And some of these stuff we can't sympathize with because we never saw it. We don't know what's going on in these different regular Army units and things like that. So it's like, man, there's some stuff that I just don't know. I just don't.
Well, you don't know
the capacity to deal with.
Right. Well, that doesn't mean they don't have problems though either. Right. That doesn't mean they don't have their own specific things, because we all want to circle jerk each other about, how different we are, better. But there's a lot of regular old dudes out there that have it fucking shit, and they have their own problems, right?
I was talking to somebody about operator syndrome, and they brought up 13 Bravos, right? Field artillery cannon crew member.
Boom. No pun intended.
No, exactly. Yeah. I was field artillery. I wasn't. Yeah. I never did my job. Talking point for myself, I never did anything that the Army taught me how to do except fall out of a plane. That's the only thing that the Army taught me how to do that I actually did. I never ran a explosives range. I never what's the other stuff that we learn in the Charlie course? Anyway, none of it. And then the construction portion, I came in, I knew everything to graduate construction. So I didn't learn anything there, but everything the Army taught me how to do in all those 8 years of schools and classes and everything, not one time, didn't use any of it. But when I was field artillery, man, those guys, they are eating charges all day long. You know, you're qualifying table 8s as a field artillery, and you are slamming 155s. That is a explosion, a hell of a thing.
Yeah,
more
dude.
than most soldiers will see their entire career.
Dude, yeah.
And we can't silo off operator syndrome with the word operator. Like, there are regular Army MOSs that have taken way more than me. I mean, I got all my concussions from impacts, right?
Yep.
But very few injuries from overpressure. But yeah, I think the term operator is a bit restrictive because, you know, it's like my lesser known operators. You know, you hang on to that last word, operator.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was a bit restrictive because we need to be doing everything. But I get it. You wanted to make something that people are going to take note of, and then you can introduce them to it later. But there's all of this stuff that we're talking about here and issues and mental health and fitness and all this other stuff. It's not exclusive to our community.
No, man.
And that's another thing from the show I gained. I go, probably I would have had a good time in the 82nd, jumping out of planes, doing training. Everybody kind of excited to be there. To be there. It's more so than my unit out in Fort
less
Sill.
ego too, you know. So
yeah, right. But you know, we're special operations, right? But we got to that point by bringing ourselves into a class or a stature or a level of professionalism and capability, right? So with that, what's the Peter Parker line, right? With great
responsibility
with great power comes great responsibility, right?
That one.
So if we did that in the military, that doesn't end our, I don't want to say to be the best, but to be an example to other people. That doesn't end. We can still be a mentor and an example to people that might look up to us that we don't even know. So that's another side of the things. I feel like we have a responsibility. We were the best where we were. We can be the best now. Just because I took the uniform off doesn't mean I can't be an excellent Green Beret. It didn't end. It's never going to end. If I don't want it to, it's never going to end. I can be a better Green Beret in civilian clothes than I was in uniform. And we can be the same thing. We can to everybody else. But we've got to be very careful of letting people drag us into hell. So be the example and do the right thing the right way. It didn't end. I introduced myself as a Green Beret. The background of my show, I've got a regimental crest, right? So I feel I have a responsibility to still be that good example that I don't know. I don't know if I was when I was in uniform. I don't know if I was the best I could be. I'm the best I am now. I'm the best version I've ever been of a Green Beret. And then, so if we're going to have that and we're going to be those people, I think we still need to be that example to everybody, not just our community, but everybody that follows me. Because I learned there was a tremendous following from the regular Army in 82nd.
Yeah.
I go, fuck, I had no idea. I'm so naive. People are listening to us because of the things we may have done or the things we say now. And I think we have a responsibility to do our best for everybody, not just our community. But that's the base we start with, right? Because that's what we know the best. You want to not have just special operations guys or gals on your show. You want to branch out, but that's where we start with, right?
Yeah.
You get your practice and you get your reps with your contacts in your phone.
Oh, 100%, man.
Because it's the easiest conversation to have. I can sit down with anybody in special operations and just talk. With no notes, no nothing. What group were you in? When did you get in? Okay, okay, let's go this direction, and we're good to go, right? But you'll get practice, you'll get reps, and then you'll be able to help more people. You'll be able to have people on here where you can just sit and expand your audience, expand your capabilities, and talk to different genres of people, and draw similarities, and then you'll help more people. But it all builds on that. That's what I did with mine. I went, what's the most damage I can do the fastest? I can do remote, and I can just work at this problem like I did. I can just work really hard. So I just one after another. I did 15 episodes in a row, 15 days in a row. I recorded 15 episodes in a row, 3-hour episodes, crazy. And I just stacking them one after another and releasing them because I want more practice. I just want to be the best again.
Yeah. Well, you're on track, man.
But there's no finish. There's nobody to compare. It's just me against myself. Now.
Well, that's the.
We all wanted to
it.
win
Yeah.
in special operations. Wanted to win, and I don't know how that looks in the civilian side. But if I can create my own thing and just win, and then because I care about people and want the best for them more so than myself. I don't have anything left to accomplish, really. But if I can help people get to their goals and feel the things that I've felt in my life, that would be more rewarding moving forward. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can see what you're doing. I can see your work, and I've seen it pay off, man. And that's the reason why I flew out. You know, I wanted to talk to you. Like, I consider you a great fucking asset to the community, you know, and you're important.
Thank you.
So
it's interesting, right? Yeah. And all these lessons like build on one another. So there's people that our community has deemed to do the wrong thing the wrong way, right? And I'm very aware of how the community has reacted to those things and how the actions of those people, to where I go, I don't want, because everybody says, oh, I don't care what people think about me. Bullshit.
You do a little bit. Sometimes you can turn that off.
I 100% care what people think about me. And I worked really hard to get to where I was, and then it was over, and now I've worked really hard to get back in. And I just want to show our community in a good light, all the good things that we have, because there's enough bad people doing things to maybe the wrong way, but I don't know that person. I don't know these people, so they're not here to defend themselves. And that's another thing of my. I don't want to shit on people. I don't want to call them out because they're not there to defend themselves. And so that's not my business. My business, I can highlight people and have a positive impact on people and going forward.
I try not to. Sometimes I joke around a bit and it happens, but I mean, you really shouldn't. We gotta build each other up, man. And I think that's like we're kind of in a weird point in a nation too, where I think it's more important that we love and respect each other and you know more than any time, you know, especially guys like us, because I mean we're not only are we the foundation of what this place is of we call America, but our families and our children and our network and community is as well. So the stronger we can make each other and the things we do, and the better it's going to be for everybody. So
it is. And we, any of us, we're no better than anybody else. But if again, I go, there's mentors and there's leaders in every sector of life, if you look at it. And you know, high school coaches, your teachers, anybody that if people ask you for advice that they're coming from the next generation, you have influence. Somebody posted the other day, they asked, what makes an influencer? And I said, it's very simple. If the next generation asks you for advice, you have influence. Because you're influencing that person and then the people that person will teach later on down the road. So it's like, influencers, military influencers, everybody has influence.
It's just different now.
It can be compounded,
you know,
and negatively used as well. But
people call me. I remember I reached out to. We're getting short on time, but there was a company I wanted to make some shorts with, and they said we don't do business with influencers, and I'm like, I didn't know I was a fucking influencer. I just got a lot of followers. I'm just a guy that posts pictures, and I'm like, people think I'm an influencer?
Well, I did Google this. At 10,000 followers, you're what's called a micro-influencer. Oh. And then over 100,000.
Well, that's not all. I'm just kidding.
So that's not all, right? The average account has 2,000 or less followers. So
okay, right on. If people are seeing your stuff consistently,
they might have a different view of you than somebody else who may not. And I say with my show, right, lesser known operators, everyone is lesser known to someone. Like some of the bigger
Right on.
people
Yeah.
in our community, my wife's never heard of them.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And there's people that come up all the time that I've never heard of. Like, who the fuck is this person? You know?
Yeah.
And I'm on my phone all the time looking at stuff, seeing what other people are doing. So there's a lot of shit out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit out there, and you got to be okay for what you ingest and what you take in. But we have to be careful with what we say, and how we say it, and I don't know.
Responsibility.
I feel like I'm repeating the same thing
Yeah.
over and over again. But that's what it is.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
On my show, there's themes that'll just happen over and over again, and it's because it works.
Yeah.
Right? Simple things work. Why do we always go back to the basics in the gym or in CQB or in anything, right? We start with the basics because they work. That's your foundation. And a lot of these things, the most simple path is where you start, and then you work from there. So the themes repeat over and over again.
Well, I definitely I've watched your work, man, this year, and it's been great. You've been great. We've had a conversation on the phone, a couple of times, and I really look forward to where you're going. I know you got full steam ahead of you and a lot of things to do and work out, but I got your back.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate you coming out, man. You got a flight soon, so we're gonna wrap up.
That's fine. I'm nothing without the goodwill and support of everybody else. So I was looking at my Instagram account last night, right? And for months, I was able to make consistently every 1 or 2 days a funny reel that would, poke fun at our community or poke fun at a different group and things like that. And then one day, it just stopped. I was not able to make funny reels anymore. I just can't get like the theme and all this. I just can't. So I'm not going to force it. So I just stopped making funny reels. Yeah. And my followers, I wasn't getting as much. But then I came into October and I drove the whole country, and then it went up. And then it slowed down. And so and I'd look at the blocks, and people will come and go, and they'll help me out more or they'll help me out less. But I've just noticed that, a lot of what I'm doing is because of other people helping me out and me helping them out.
Right on. Yeah, for sure.
We're nothing without other people. Like, nobody's doing this stuff by themselves or anything like that. Yeah, you can have a team and people advising you, but you got to have people working with you. For me, it's collaborations, and I try to shout out everybody that gives me help and has given me pointers. Like right away when I started, one guy saw my stuff and he's like, you're going somewhere. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right. And he taught me some stuff, and that's helped me out so much, because that was early on. I would have taken me months to figure
look where you're at now, dude. You're at the pinnacle of podcasts. I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
This is all a treat. It's all a treat, man. Somebody said, what's your dream interview? And I said, it's everybody I get to talk to now. Everybody, every opportunity to meet a new person. I said, well, the real answer is, who's your dream interview? All those people are gone. They're no longer here. So I get to live my dream of interviewing the people that are still here that I find interesting while they're still around. And I get to be friends with those people and talk to them and help them with their issues, and they'll help me with mine. I'm 100% living my dream. Right now I'm successful, and I just want to keep that going. I told it I'm the brokest I've ever been, but I feel fulfilled in what I'm doing, and I just want to keep that going. And it's such an interesting thing to be at this point, and I just want to help everybody else feel like that as well, because it's one thing if you succeed. But like I said earlier, right? We don't remember the things when we win. We remember when we fail. And I want to have the same thing for other people and help them, because I remember helping other people the same. Everybody that's helped me. Think of all the people that gave you a hand when they didn't have to. My sergeant major and commander, I was able to stay 3 more years in the military because they did things for me that they didn't have to do. And I will never, ever forget that. And now that I got my shit together, I'm not drinking, I'm focusing on my fitness and my health and work. Because when I was drinking, it was all about me and what I wanted. Fuck that. Never gotten anywhere that way. You should feel sad and you just drink more and you get in this hole that now community and being around people and helping other people out, you feel good, and you're helping other people feel good. That's what it's all about. I'll never forget.
That's a different kind of drug there. But
Yeah, and I don't want to be happy, and I don't want to be sad. I just want to be fulfilled. Happiness goes away, and sadness fucking sucks. But if I can be fulfilled and moving forward and help other people feel that way, that's what it's all about. And if the market, and this is the most bummer part of it, if the market decides that I need to go away, then I'll go away. But at least I can help people in my way that I feel like going forward.
well, it's a pleasure to be a part of that, man, and appreciate you coming out.
Thank you for having me.
And we're gonna do it again. I know we both got a lot ahead of us, so we'll.
It never ends.
It never ends.
It's never gonna
Never
end.
ends. But we're gonna wrap up here with that. And give me a handshake. I always do that.
But through it all, I must give thanks for my great successes and my great mistakes.